Now recently I've noticed that the windscreen wipers on the Triumph have been getting gradually worse. I think they're getting more and more perished. So today I'm going to try and replace them with new rubber, because I've looked high and low and you can't get the original rubber for them with the metal part on top. So I'm going to try and replace them with some modern aftermarket rubber which you can get for virtually nothing. To take off the wiper, it's just got a little sort of foot and a pin in there, and you can just slide it off like that. Now, this blade is also rather perished, so I will replace it. I've taken the wiper blade off the car, and I'm first going to carefully remove the original little rubber clips from either side and then slide out the rubber blade itself. The clips were too difficult to remove by hand, so I was forced to deploy the needle nose pliers, which popped them off in no time. I was then able to slide out the rubber itself, leaving the thin metal strip inside the metal frame. This part wasn't too hard to remove, only requiring a squeeze with the pliers at one end where it clips onto the rest of the blade. So I've now got the rubber blade and the metal retainer, plus the arm part of the blade as well. So I was looking at the new rubber which I bought. I bought enough for 2 blades, and it cost me a whopping $6 Australian off eBay. That's about £3. That's much cheaper than the $100 they were going to charge for a new set of blades, including the metal arm part. Unfortunately, this, the new one, is not going to go back inside the old retainer because it's got a triangular shaped top. At this point, having realised that putting the new rubber into the original metal retainer wasn't going to be an option, as the rubbers have a different shape, I went to search for an alternative means of mounting the new rubber in the wiper. The solution I found was to use the metal rods out of the Rover's old wiper blades, which I had removed and replaced in their entirety at an earlier date. Using the remains of these perished and decayed articles, I was luckily able to salvage the metal retaining rods by stripping off the old rubber and separating the rods from the rest of the blade. After that, I used the pliers to cut each rod to the length of the old retainer. Here I just laid the old rubber against my new retaining rods to check they were the correct size. It was then a comparatively simple matter to measure the new rubber against the old and trim it accordingly. I slotted the rods into the grooves on each side of the rubber, making sure the little catches at the ends were facing away from each other to allow the little end clips to go back on after I'd finished. This could then be slid back into the frame, making sure all the lugs were over the metal rods. Then the lugs were given a quick squeeze, as the original wiper rubber was slightly wider than the new 6mm one. Finally, all that was left to do was to replace the original rubber end caps, and the wipers are as good as new. Let's put the newly refurbished wiper back on. The little tongue just goes in there and it slots in place like that. So this is the new wiper on this side, and the old wiper is here, and when we run the washers and turn on the wipers themselves, you can see how much better the new one is. The old one leaves this horrible streaky mess with sort of uncleared areas, and the new one is completely clear apart from that dribble, but we won't talk about that. So I'd say that's a definite improvement, and I will go on and do the other one. that's about it for this video. We finally managed to replace the wipers in the Triumph, and as you can see, they are a great success. So I will call that done, and I will say thank you very much for watching. I hope you've enjoyed the video, and ta-ta for now.